Hi, and thank you for joining me to walk through this investment property analysis worksheet. This is truly the best worksheet I have ever seen for investors like yourself to take a look at small investment properties and understand the returns. My name is Charles Roberts. I'm the president of Your Castle Real Estate, a 500-plus person firm based in Denver, Colorado. I've been an investor for about 20 years, and I work with folks just like you who are looking to build wealth with real estate. And this is the tool that I recommend people use. It was put together by my colleague Joe Massey of Castle & Cook Mortgage. And we train on this and we show people how easy it is to understand what returns are on a particular property. The good news is there's really no math involved. You don't have to worry about actually making calculations. All you need to do is understand what the property is and what the returns will be, make assumptions for the future, and you can sketch out what your returns should be and the wealth you can build. So what I want to do is actually walk through a property that a client of mine bought recently, a real property in Aurora, Colorado, and I entered the information into this worksheet. I'm going to go line by line real quick. I'm going to show you what you do to enter the information, and I'm going to show you the results and the power of this worksheet. And what I hope you do is you take a look at this, you understand it, and then give me a call, contact me. I'm happy to answer any questions. And if you're looking to build wealth with real estate, to buy property, to hold it for the long term, I'm happy to show you how this can help you do that and help you achieve your goals. So without further ado, let me go ahead and jump in. Here's where we're going to start right here. What you see is property address. Great, this is the actual property that my guy bought. It was a small, maybe I think about 1,100 square foot, 3-bedroom, 1-bath property in a nice part of Aurora. And we put in the number of units, just one unit. And then you'll see here, I put in 20%. He put 20% down. So you can see I could, for example, change this to 30% as I just did, or put it back to 20%. He paid $169,000 for it. His acquisition costs, which are shown here as things like property insurance, inspection costs, appraisal costs, transfer taxes, all the cost it took him to acquire the property came up to about $2,500. His loan cost to actually get the loan was $2,747, and he put 20% down, so 20% of 169 is $33,800. What you'll see is that you can change the numbers in the yellow fields, and then these fields are actually auto-calculated based upon averages. So loan costs, an average loan of 169, you're going to put in about 2747. So he put down 33,800 on this. His mortgage balance 135,200, and you will see that he actually did some repairs to this. In this case, he did about $3,000, basically paint and carpet. It was in pretty good shape. We did our inspections. Everything came out fine. But he did put a little money into this to get it rent ready. And then what you see is the total that he came to the table with for $42,047. That is the check he wrote at closing. Interest rate's still real low. He got a 4 1/8 30-year fixed this was a 30-year fixed, actually. I'm going to change this to 30. This is the mortgage term, and this is something we'll go to. Going back to 15 and 30, you can do different calculations based on that. But his was a 30-year, so we have it at 30 now. He put it on the market, put it on Craigslist for about a week, got a great tenant, rented it for $1,550. So the total rent was $1,550. And here's where we make some assumptions. I put in a vacancy factor of 5%. Now, right now in Metro Denver, we have about a 1.5% vacancy rate for single-family homes. Very, very low vacancy. I remember back in 2003, I had 29 properties at that time. We had over 13% vacancy rates. Vacancy goes up and vacancy goes down. Average over time, 6 or 7%. I put in 5% at this point. We can change it. I could put in 6, I could put in 7, I could put in 8. I put in 5 right now because I think it's going to be 5 or lower, certainly for the next number of years. But of course, you're going to get this. And by the way, this is free. All you need to do is contact me. I'm happy to email you this spreadsheet so that you can see it. We don't sell it. We just give it to folks like you so that you can use it, hopefully become better investors. And if we can help you do that, well, that's what we'd like to do. So we have a vacancy factor of 5%. Annual rent increase in Metro Denver for the last 44 years has been 4% overall. The last 3 years has been over 30%, skyrocketing rents. That is not going to last forever. Someday we'll come back to earth. I'll put in a very conservative 4% because that's what it's been for over 40 years. Annual appreciation rate in Metro Denver for single-family homes for the last 44 years has been 6.2%. Now, again, the last few years it's been 10% plus. Our market has skyrocketed. That won't last forever. We might get another year of 8 or 10%. Maybe it'll go to 6. Maybe it'll go to -2 sometime. But overall, in the long term, I'm going to use long-term trends. About 6% is what we have seen. Now we go down here and we look at annual operating expenses. The actual taxes on this property when we bought it were $886 per year. Property insurance for my guy was $900 for this rental property. And here, he actually manages the property himself. You can put in something here if you want to put 8 or 9%, put in the yearly management fee, of course, but he manages it himself. Most of my clients actually do manage their own property. I manage my own property. Not that hard, just takes some work. Repairs and maintenance. Like to put in about $100 a month over time. Now he'll have a tenant there. Maybe the tenant will stay for 2 or 3 years. He'll do almost nothing. The tenant will leave. He'll have to put $1,000 in. Then another tenant for a year. Then another $2,000 after that. I've owned properties for almost 20 years, and what I can say is for a unit like this, over the long term, it's something like about $100 a month. But again, this is yours. You put in whatever you like. Utilities if paid by owner, water and sewer. I like to have all utilities paid by the tenant. Different landlords have different opinions on that. And if you're buying a duplex or anything larger, generally there's no way to split the water. So you'll be paying for the water here. But in this case, similar to most of my clients, he has no other payments beyond what you see right here. There's no HOA because it's a single family house. But when you get this, you can put in whatever you like. Any assumptions you like, go ahead and put it in. And then you see down here, there's a number of tabs that you can press. Right now, we're in the Inputs tab. Let's now look at Cash Flow. Go to Cash Flow, go to the top. And what you see is the address of the property, it's 1 unit. And this takes all the information we put in, and what it does is it puts it into a format that allows you to put together a cash flow worksheet. Once again, he paid $169, he put this amount down, blah, blah, blah. Total cash invested, like we talked about, was $42,047. His average annual rental income at $1,550 a month is $18,600, 5% vacancy, and this is his annual rental income. Again, we have our taxes, our insurance, our repairs, and we come down here, we see our total annual expenses, gives us our net operating income. Very important to begin our financial calculations. Less our annual mortgage, which is the $135,200 at 4 1/8 on a 30-year, gives us annual cash flow before taxes. All of this is before taxes because your tax rates will vary, of $6,821, giving us a cash-on-cash return of 16%. Now that's a very important number. What it means is you put in a certain amount of money, like $42,047. At the end of 1 year, based upon all the assumptions we made, you should have a cash flow of $6,821. Do the math, and that's a cash-on-cash return of 16%. So what are you getting in the bank? 0%. S&P broke even in the past year. What you want to do is you want to compare these returns and the risk it takes to get these returns with any other place to put your money. In this case, you're looking at a cash-on-cash, a very healthy 16% in the first year, and a cap rate, which is another very important metric. Cap rate is the net operating income divided by the purchase price. So right here, the net operating income divided by the purchase price, which was $169, gives a cap rate of 8.7. I will have other podcasts that talk about some of these metrics if they're not too familiar to you. But in the meantime, you can always ask me questions on them if you would like to. Cap rate of 8.7, very healthy investment on a very simple property that we just found in Aurora. Simple house. Okay, let's go to the next thing. Let's look at multi-year analyses. What we do is we click on the 15-year analysis, which will go out for 15 years. And you see, once again, this is all the information we input. So let's look at year 1. You have year 2, year 3, and you keep on going, but we'll start with year 1. We put in, we have $18,600 in annual rental income, expected annual rental income minus the vacancy of $17,670. You've already seen these numbers here. Let's move on down, move on down, move on down. You've seen a lot of this right here. Annual cash flow, great. Now we look at the expected return. Now we paid $169 for it, and we expect over the long run that $169 to go up by 6% per year, meaning the property value at the end of year 1 is $179,140. Your mortgage balance, it goes down because about 10 or 12% of your first year PI, principal plus interest payment, goes to principal, meaning this goes down, so your total equity is now $46,270. Make sense? This is your total equity. Your equity plus your cash flow now equals $53,091. So you now have $53,091. Therefore, your annual rate of return on the money you put in was actually 26.3%. Very, very important to understand. This is why so many people make so much money in real estate, is they understand what their rate of return is, which is a combination of the property going up in value over time, the mortgage balance going down, and the annual cash flow. You put all that together, you actually are worth $53,091 after year 1, which is 26.3% more than when you started. Again, your cash on cash return was 16.2%. Your cumulative cash and equity gain, you made $11,000, which comes out to 26.3%. Hopefully you're beginning to see the light and understand why so many millionaires say, you know what, I just bought some property, I managed it, I paid it off, and I made a lot of money. This is why they made a lot of money. This is the type of return. Now, if we go to year 2, we go through the exact same thing, and what we did is we assumed that rent would go up 6%, so our expected annual rent went here. We actually added 4%, which was the average, adding to real estate taxes, property insurance. You see the difference here. So we go up in amount here. I think we had 3% for property insurance. That's the numbers we heard, and 3% here. We go down now to the end of year 2, and while at the end of year 1 you had made $11,000 on your investment, by the end of year 2 you made $31,000, a 75% return. This is where the rubber meets the road, and you see the kind of money you make. Year 3, you're up 127%. Year 4, you've almost tripled your money. You've more than doubled it here, 127%. Here, you've almost tripled it by simply buying and holding investment property. Incredibly valuable way to make money. Now, I want to come back here and show you what would happen if, for example, you wanted to actually put the extra principal you made, if you put the extra principal you make into actually paying off the debt. So what we can do is we say 15-year with cash flow to principal. So let's say instead of you taking the cash flow and putting it in the bank and hopefully not spending it, but you put it in the bank, instead of doing that, let's say at the end of every year, you take all of the excess cash flow you've made and prepay your loan. If you do that, that is a very, very effective way to pay off a mortgage early. Okay? So we go to the tab 15-year with cash flow to principal, and let's go out to year, say, 10 right here. So this is year 10, and we are going to look and go down here, and we're going to show you what happens is that by year 11, what you have done is you have paid off your property. Right here, you have now paid off the property. So this property that he paid for $169, with all of the assumptions that we made, that it would, for example, increase in value over the long term by 6% per year. Rents would go up by 4%. We'd have 5% vacancy. He had a 30-year fixed mortgage. If you do what my client did, and actually what I did when I first started buying property, is taking all of the cash flow and paying off the property, you are going to pay off the property at this point, right here. So for example, in year 10, you had $9,000 in this line 40 right here, which I'll come over here and show you what line 40 is the mortgage balance at the end of the year. Okay? And then remember, line 37 is the cash flow before taxes. You come over here, what you see is by the time you get to right here, in year just before year 11, between year 10 and year 11, you are going to pay off this property. And what that means is you're going to jump from a $13,884 per year in cash flow. You're going to jump now to $22,613. And you're going to have that plus about 6% every year increase. You are going to build enormous wealth by simply taking the money that you made, the profit you made every year, and paying off the property early. And you see right here, in this particular year 11, you are now up 762%. In just 11 years, you took your $40,000 and you have now $320,000. So just sit back and think about that. If you're willing to take the risk of being a real estate investor, and there are risks involved, and there is work involved, but if you do that with one simple property, and based upon all of the very normal assumptions we made, and you pay off the property, you take all of the cash flow you make every year, and you pay it off, this is the type of return you are going to get. And this is the type of money you're going to make every year. So imagine you do, say, one of these for a year, say for the next 4 years. This would mean if you had this type of deal, you would be making almost $90,000 a year after 11 years with a paid off property, and you'd have over $1 million. That's right, if you were to do this just once a year for the next 4 years. So this is just a basic intro into the power of this calculation. I'd love for people to look at it. Please feel free to email me at croberts, the letter C, R-O-B-E-R-T-S, at yourcastle.org. And I'd be happy to send this over to you. Give me a call, 303-523-3837. I can show you how to use this, and I can explain to you how you can actually do this. And I'll show you exactly what my clients are doing. I'll send you the last 5 or 10 deals that we've closed over the last few months, normal properties that people are buying using this type of calculation, paying off. Some people pay them off over a 30-year calculation, some over a 15, and some are doing what I'm doing. What I did when I first bought property, all my stuff is paid off now, is simply pay it off early to see the power of the calculation and investing. So take the action, send me an email, give me a call. Happy to send this to you, no obligation, just sending it to you so you can take a look at it, play with it for a while. If I can help you search and find property like this, which is truly doable, these are property on the market, I'd be happy to help you do that. That's the way it works. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks very much. This is Charles Roberts, president of Your Castle Real Estate. Have a great day.